A keyboard case can completely change the feel and functionality of your iPad. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the Logitech Folio Touch. This is a great keyboard case that works with the iPad Air M3, M2, or also the iPad Air 4th and 5th generation. It doesn't require any batteries because it uses the smart connector on the iPad. It also is able to easily fold up, and you have this little magnetic clasp that keeps your Apple Pencil in place, which is really nice to keep you from losing it when you're on the go. So it has a cloth feel on the back of it. It's also got some rubberized elements, and one of the great features about this is it actually completely protects your iPad and has this rubber casement all the way around it. I have heard some people say that the rubber can wear out over time. I personally haven't had this experience, but depending on your use case, this may be an issue for you. So whenever you're ready to use it, you just put the magnet out of the way, pull the keyboard down, and then the kickstand comes out. One complaint I do have with this is I feel like the kickstand could be a little bit more sturdy. I didn't have any issues with using it in the real world though. It is very flexible, so you can go pretty low with it if you want to use this for drawing. And if the keyboard's in your way, all you have to do is just move it out of the way, and it's not going to do anything once you actually flip it back to a certain length. So you can easily adjust the height and the angle of the iPad with the kickstand all the way down to almost flat on it. So it's a pretty versatile viewing experience. One issue with this though is it can be a little bit unstable if you're using it on your lap. So I find that this works a lot better if you're going to use it on a solid surface versus trying to use this for laptop like typing. Let's do a quick typing test. So I found the typing performance on this to be pretty good, pretty quiet, and pretty accurate. You get backlit keys, and you also get a full function row on the top, which is really nice to have because you can adjust things like your screen brightness. You can also adjust the backlighting on the keys, activate search. You can also skip forward or backwards on songs, play and stop, and there's also the full volume control. So there's really a great set of keys on this. And the trackpad on it also works pretty well. You can even do things like tap to click with the trackpad, and you can also use a variety of gestures that make this still feel like an iPad even when you're using it with a trackpad. I did find that this trackpad is not quite as accurate as the one on the Apple Magic Keyboard is. That one to me just feels a little bit more responsive, and the Magic Keyboard also works better on a lap instead of just using it on a desktop surface because it's got the solid base, and the cantilever design just supports it better to me than the kickstand does. One of the big drawbacks to buying the Folio Touch is the fact that the keyboard is permanently attached. So Logitech's Combo Touch model, you can actually detach the keyboard, and the keyboard still uses the power of the iPad, but if you don't want to use it, you can just flip it out of the way and just have it folded up like that. Or you can also throw the keyboard off to the side and just use your iPad as an iPad in this case. So I think the Combo Touch is definitely better than the Folio Touch in that regard, just because of the flexibility that you have with that case. But the Folio Touch still works well, types quietly, and also you don't have to worry about battery life because it just uses the smart connector on the iPad for its power and for all the data. So I love this because there's no latency when you type, and it just works really well and gives you a super simple setup. And I also really appreciate that on the Folio Touch, you get the magnetic clasp for the Apple Pencil, because with the Combo Touch, you definitely have to be careful not to lose your Apple Pencil when you're on the go. The Logitech Folio Touch retails for $200, but this model's been out for a while now, so you can often find it on sale. And it's also readily available on the used market as well. So I like the Folio Touch, and I think it gets the job done. It also gives you that cloth look and feel to it, which is very nice and soft, and you don't have to worry about fingerprints. But with the Combo Touch, I have had issues with it showing a lot of fingerprints on the back of the case. I think if I was trying to decide between the Folio Touch or the Combo Touch, I would say I prefer the Combo Touch just because of the flexibility of being able to fully remove the keyboard. There are times when I'm using this case when I wish that the keyboard could be quickly detached and still to use it as an iPad with the kickstand on the back of it. So that's definitely a big drawback to the Folio Touch, is the fact that it's always going to be permanently attached. I also still prefer the Magic Keyboard to any other case for the iPad Air, but the Folio Touch does provide better protection. It's thicker, it's got the rubber all the way around it, and it's significantly cheaper than the Magic Keyboard as well. So you really have to make the choice. Do you prefer to have the keyboard permanently attached and to have the pencil being stored in place on top, in which case I would get the Folio Touch. Otherwise, look into the Apple Magic Keyboard if you want the cantilever design and just the better trackpad, the better typing performance on the Magic Keyboard, or get the Combo Touch if you want the ability to remove the keyboard whenever you're not using it while still keeping it pretty well protected with the case. It just doesn't have the clasp to keep the Apple Pencil attached. So the Folio Touch is really for you if you've got the iPad Air and you want to have an all-in-one setup that basically turns your iPad Air into a mini laptop. It's got the permanently attached keyboard, so you don't have to worry about losing it. It works really well, offers great fast typing performance, and gives you the trackpad to use as well. So if you're looking for a nice, simple keyboard case for your iPad Air, the Folio Touch is a great option. If you're interested in buying one, I do have links to buy in the description below. If you got any questions about this model, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear them. Like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content.